In this video, we're going to be talking about 5 things not to say to autistic people. Here we go. Well, hello into people, and if you're brand new to my channel, I make weekly videos talking about being autistic from my experiences, so if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you subscribe, click the notification bell for more videos like this. And this is the last video of World Autism Awareness Week. If you didn't know, I've been uploading every single day this week, and if you want to check out those videos, there's a playlist down below. However, this is things not to say to autistic people, and the first thing is, everyone's a little autistic. Everyone's a little bit socially anxious. Everyone has sensitivities to things, you know. We can all be on the spectrum somewhere. Now, I talked about this last year. I'll link the video down below, but for me, everyone is not on the autism spectrum. Yes, people can show traits of autism to a degree. Like, people can obviously be socially anxious in social situations. People can have different sensitivities to things, such as clothing and, you know, all of these other things that make up an autism diagnosis. People can exhibit or show in everyday life. It doesn't matter whether they are knowledgeable of autism or not. But the key thing with this one is not everyone is autistic. Yes, you can show a trait of some description or feel like you can connect with a trait, but that does not mean you yourself are autistic. It just means that you can identify with a trait, and that trait alone doesn't mean that you can be diagnosed with autism. Basically, to get an autism diagnosis, there's multiple things to consider, such as the communication aspect, repetitive routines and behaviors, sensory issues. There's a whole array of different things that actually go into an autism diagnosis for someone to be diagnosed as autistic. Now, the second thing not to say to autistic people is autism is an epidemic. It needs to be erased. Now, this one annoys me personally because when you actually look up the word academic, it actually refers to diseases and having a plan of combating a disease or an illness, but autism is not a disease for one, and it's not an illness as well. So when people say autism is an epidemic, nah. Autism is definitely not an epidemic. It's getting reported a lot more. People are getting diagnosed more often in different parts of the world, but it's not an epidemic. It's just the fact that people are more aware of what autism is, the traits that go into an autism diagnosis, and, you know, people are starting to recognize the signs of autism in themselves, in other people, which ultimately, you know, leads to more diagnosis. You know, the more awareness that we have in the world and the more acceptance of autistic people, the more that, you know, people are going to get diagnosed. It's not an epidemic. Don't call it an epidemic, because being autistic is not a bad thing. Obviously, we can have our challenges, but it's not a bad thing. And next thing not to say to autistic people is autistic people can't lie. You know, they're very, very honest. They're very blunt with their opinions and stuff. Like, autistic people can't lie, surely. Now, this one I think is very strange, and I have noticed this crop up a few times, and the reason to me why it's weird is because autistic people are people. You know, we might have a difference, you know, and we may react in a way that is different to other people. Just because we appear to be more truthful and blunt about our point of view sometimes, it doesn't mean that we can't lie. I don't think autism really comes into the conversation for me when it comes to lying and manipulation and being deceptive. I think it's just people being people, and it's depending on who the person is. However, I do feel that some autistic people lie out of good reasoning. You know, it's not because we are wanting to hurt the person that we're talking to. I think it's, you know, not to hurt their feelings, but consequently, you know, we actually hurt their feelings by lying to them. Basically, human interaction, social interaction is very, very strange. And really, just to say to you, you know, I think it's just about the actual person. Take the autism or the other conditions that are, you know, associated with the person, and actually look at it at face value. Now, the next thing not to say to autistic people is autistic people are geniuses. You know, we can hack databases, we can, you know, do complex algebra, you know, we can do brain surgery, you know, we are proper geniuses. We're like proper top dogs in science and stuff. we're not all geniuses. I mean, for me, I could not do brain surgery unless of course, it's in operation, like the game, you know. I'm super good at, you know, pulling that brain out with the tweezers. It is delightful. When it comes to maths, yeah, I'm alright at maths, but I couldn't do complex algebra. I could not hack my way out of a cardboard box. But the point I'm trying to make here is I think the media has this weird portrayal of autistic people as geniuses, people who are really clever. But that's not to say that all autistic people are like that. It's just a part of autism, which can be true for some people on the spectrum, but for some autistic people we can be knowledgeable in select topics or activities. You know, we can have interests, really heavily obsessive interests that we love to do and we, you know, get passionate about, and we just love to know things about the topics that we learn. You know, that can be a special interest, and you know, we just want to know everything about that topic. I did talk about special interests on the channel before. I'll link the most recent one up there. So ultimately, not all autistic people are geniuses. You know, we are just average Joes who, you know, sit in boxes every single day trying to hack out of them. That's just my life really, but heyo. Now the next thing not to say to autistic people is you can't speak for autistic people who cannot speak for themselves. You know, you're talking, you're able to do everything that you want to do, but there's some autistic people out there who just can't live the same life as you. You know, you can't speak for those people. And the truth of the matter is, I don't speak on behalf of everyone. Yes, I'm autistic myself. Yes, I can relate to other autistic people's experiences. However, I can't speak for every single autistic person that I meet, because they might have strengths that I don't have. They might have weaknesses that I don't have. They might have limitations that I don't have. I'm not saying I don't have limitations, I don't have weaknesses. I'm just saying that our challenges might be different. There could be similarities, of course, but I think with this one, it's talking about people who are non-verbal, you know, bit unable to communicate through verbal communication, which I have to say, just because someone isn't verbal, like they can't say, oh, I hate you, publicly, doesn't mean that they can't communicate or want to be able to communicate. But I think it's about giving them the means to communicate, whether it's through sign, whether it's through a communication aid like a tablet or something like that. Like I say, for me personally as an autistic person, and I'm only talking about myself here because I can only speak for myself, I don't try to speak for the whole community, nor do I try to, because we are all diverse in our own ways. And I think that's the beauty of autism generally. Yes, we can have our challenges. Yes, we can have things that limit us in certain ways. But I think it's about recognizing the positive things of autism, not just the bad. So I don't talk on behalf of autistic people, nor do I try to. In fact, most autistic people, we can speak for ourselves, and that is where my comment section is for. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if there are any other things that people shouldn't say to autistic people, let me know down below. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a big thumbs up for me down below, and subscribe to see more videos like this. Stay you, stay indie. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you next time.